Yes, people. What's going on? Welcome back to another transfer view. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to United View. Make sure you like the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because, people, we are 12th in the league. We beat one of the teams in and around us in a thrilling game, thrilling game. And this team started to answer questions. Can you get it done against the teams like Southampton? Well, the answer is yes, we can get it done. Doesn't matter about how the game went and the condition of it.
Yeah, I was going to say,
can you get it done? And the answer is yes, we can. Ahmad, Flex, what time did you get back? Nathan says, brother. Nathan, listen to me now. I put my head on the pillow yesterday. I went, this is a 22.5-hour day. I woke up at 4 a.m. the morning before that and went, this is basically nearly 24 hours. Done a little bit of math. So So
Molly May settings, yeah? Everyone's got the same 24 hours.
And then these criminals in the game, I was going, I swear, it took me 5 hours to get to the game yesterday.
Yeah. When I called you at halftime, I called Flex at halftime, people that saw the match for yesterday. And first of all, when you get greeted with hello at halftime, I thought, and the first thing you went, it took me 5 hours to get here today. I was like, bloody hell. And then
and I thought, if these
82 minutes
make me drive all the way back, having to deal with losing to Southampton and what that comes with, I would have just lost my shit. But yeah.
But it's one of those ones, isn't it, where look, if you traveled 5 hours or you traveled 5 minutes, you still saw the same shit. You know what I mean? And it was not good for 82 minutes. But like you say, Flex, it was a victory. It was one of those ones that even when we equalized, it was like, this still has to be a win because they are bottom of the league with 6 points. They didn't play like a team, in fairness, that was bottom of the league with 6 points.
No, they played very well.
Played all right. But when you get the result at the end of it, you can see why they are where they are because they collapsed so quickly. But, you know, result, that's what matters at the moment. You know, it's been
and you know what?
It's already... Go ahead.
Yeah, go on. It's already...
Well, I was just going to say it's already been an eventful morning, you know, when it comes to news, not just necessarily Manchester United, but the news this morning that Erling Haaland signed a 9.5-year contract at Manchester City. Yeah. Erling Haaland has signed a 9.5-year contract at Manchester City.
Oh, shit.
Until 2034. It committed basically his whole career to City, which is come out of nowhere. When it comes to United, though, when it comes to transfer stuff, a little bit after the game about Garnacho yesterday that we'll talk about. But yeah, 9.5-year contract, Flex. I didn't even think I'd do that.
Dear defenders, all I have to say is, sorry, I'm here to stay. Oh, you cheeky bastard. Wow. I mean, I can't bother to read all that press conference. I don't care about that about City, but
I saw someone on Twitter say there was Suge Knight in the room when he signed the deal because you know what I mean. It's
the release video. He's sitting in the snow like a fucking Viking, Scandinavian Viking. Look, sitting in a pair of pants and no top on in the snow. Wow, 9.5 years. Wow, that's crazy, man. That really is.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Well, enough of them. We got news of our own. We got more important news to talk about because last time he played against us, we don't care. We got Harry Maguire. Maybe we should sign Harry Maguire up to a 9.5-year contract to keep him
don't go. You know,
right.
Let's not go crazy. Let's not.
Maybe we shouldn't do that. Maybe we shouldn't.
Yes. Let's not go crazy.
Oh, we have got transfer news to talk about. We need to talk about Alejandro Garnacho, not his performance last night. We could do that a little bit later on. But I tell you what, we have to talk about these approaches or the approach or the turning down of a real life bid, a real life approach, etc., because it started as something in Italy that was Damasio, maybe a bit of interest. But as soon as this Kvaratskhelia deal has sort of landed, and they have that sort of disposable money in Napoli, it really emerged that they were after Alejandro Garnacho. And Owen, there's legitimate news around this.
Yes. Yeah, like you said, it's been a bit of a weird one when it comes to all of this because for a while there has been all of this chatter about, oh yeah, they're interested, but no one's really heard anything or anything like that. No one's really heard anything. But The Athletic reported after the game last night from Laurie Whitwell and David Ornstein that Napoli indeed have now approached Manchester United over the availability of Alejandro Garnacho. But the Italian club's proposal is not being entertained at Old Trafford as things stand. Now, this kind of goes back to all of the chat of the previous week, of course, saying that The Athletic had reported last week that United would reluctantly consider selling homegrown players, including the aforementioned Garnacho, in order to comply with financial fair play rules, as well as PSR rules in the Premier League too. However, the club are not actively looking to sell Garnacho or these homegrown players, and the figures discussed by Napoli so far don't even come close to what Manchester United would be looking for. Of course, he's a product of the academy, meaning that a sale would represent pure profit on the club's balance sheet, whilst obviously Napoli, as Flex mentioned, have identified him as a potential replacement for Kvaratskhelia. Now, the actual figures being sort of thrown around here a little bit from Italy, Alfredo Padula saying that it was a bid of maybe 38 million plus add-ons for Alejandro Garnacho. I see Simon Stone this morning from the BBC, which again is pretty much as concrete as it gets, is saying that it's around 40 million pounds for Alejandro Garnacho, but it falls well below the valuation of really what United are looking for, which had been sort of stated previously. Flex, it was around what, sort of 60 million pounds, something along those lines. And it goes back to, I was kind of talking about this last night on the match view. No, everyone's got a price. Every player's got a price. Now, this is kind of what I was talking about last week when I was saying that the sort of headlines that were and the reaction I thought was quite reactionary to it last week. Of we're going around, we're shopping out, and we're getting rid of our academy players, and we're saying everyone can buy our academy players. That goes against, the Manchester United ethos. That goes against our history. That goes against this. That goes against that. I think what they're really saying is, if Napoli want to pay 60 plus million pounds for Alejandro Garnacho, then you have to consider that. Of course, you have to consider. It's a difficult proposition not to consider. If they're doing what they're doing now, where they're going, we'll give you 38 million pounds for Alejandro Garnacho, of course you're like, well, it's miles off. And I don't really, again, I don't see this happening in January, because even those that sort of, like you said, there were sort of rumored reports of a few days ago were like, oh, Napoli are interested in Garnacho, but there's a difference of 30 million pounds in valuation. And you go, well, that's a big gap, isn't it? That's a big gap.
Yeah, it's like, well, obviously no then.
Yeah, that's like, I mean, it's essentially like almost 50% more. If you go, I tell you what, I'm interested in buying that house, I'll give you this. We'd like 50% more. You go, I don't think we're going to negotiate on this one. We're quite far away. So it feels like a lot of distance to go. But I guess this is more confirmation of those sort of rumblings in Italy were legitimate or are legitimate.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I spoke about this a lot yesterday, whilst doing some work as well. I was with Statman Dave, actually, obviously numbers man, that's Statman Dave, and we were sort of talking about what money is acceptable, what isn't, and obviously he reels out the stats and sort of starts showing these stats that Alejandro Garnacho is leading for players 21 and under for a lot of stuff, like a lot. Obviously, like Lamine Yamal's in there, and he's probably played more games than him, so. But he's got more numbers than him. Makoko, another one. A lot of it aspiring, like up and coming players who are doing really well, and he leads for a lot of it. So his point was like, listen, I know you could like let him go for 60 million pounds, but the player that you get in and the value that Garnacho could be, and he's so young, you kind of got to leave it there and let him grow. But I feel like it's real. Definitely, it's real, and it feeds into the reports that we were saying of like significant bids United would consider, but they're not actively trying to sell these players, which is why this bid has been rejected. If this was 70 million, 60 plus add-ons, maybe 60 plus, they've decided 60 that they still won't sell. Whatever the number it is that they have in their head that they go, well, we obviously can't turn that down. It's a no. It's a no. Like Mina said, if Garner played for Napoli, would Napoli pay 60 million for him at this time? That answers no. And that's the thing. It's like you have to. It's all about context when you talk about this, isn't it? Because Saeed's had his say. Saeed's saying, "Listen, I'd sell him now if that means you can go and get someone that's better or this, that, and the other. You just sell him now." A lot of people say, "Listen, this is a young player. He's only 20 years of age. You have to understand that he's got room to grow. Zayn, you also have to understand context. Lamine Yamal and Garnacho in the same sentence. All right, time to stop the video and watch something else. Bye. Well, you're probably still here, Zayn. I bet you are. And again, context. I was just talking about somebody else who was just putting him in numbers with Lamine Yamal because he's a freak.
I just got an idea of just watching on like the laptop or something. No, get rid of that.
Yeah,
straight away.
I'm not here, and I guarantee you, Zayn is here somewhere. He's probably still here, and it's probably burning him because he doesn't want to show he's still here by putting a chat. But I bet he does. I bet he puts something. Zayn is crying in his car. I bet Zayn just typed. He just can't. He's like, oh, I am here, but he should never have said that. But yeah. So, but then I put down the argument of if I said to you right now, Owen, and obviously the numbers got a crunch. Oh, we could sell Garnacho, but by hook or by crook, we can use that money to go and get Mateus Cunha right now. Right now, would you take it? My guy, Zayn, my guy, Zayn. I knew you wouldn't let me down, bro, because he's been here since the start. He's a real one. Man like Zayn. Zayn, I knew it. When you know the community, bro, that means so much. You know the patterns of behavior and the rage, and the outrage. So
time to shut off the video, but I'm not. I've been here since the beginning.
My guy, Zayn. Yeah, would you do it?
The problem is, isn't it? And this actually, I think this sort of stems to something I've been pushing back on before. Is when we do talk about selling players, there is a sort of fear to move players on. One, because of the whole player FC thing, because nowadays people support players necessarily, not teams. But also, two, there is still this element of not having trust in Manchester United of going, right, well, if we were an efficient, well-run club, I would have faith in the Manchester United hierarchy to properly reinvest that 60, 70 million pounds of pure profit into one or two players that could transform us and put us higher up the league and challenge for, significant trophies and do that. But we've also seen this club, not necessarily people that are running it now, but we've seen this club in the past spend 100 million euros on Anthony. That's more money than we're talking about for Garnacho here in the first place. And we're going, so how would it be reinvested? Would we just be selling an academy player, which sometimes it could be a necessary sort of evil for a promising future, but I don't know. You don't know if you trust this club to reinvest properly, make those right decisions, and also then parts of the Garnacho deal. Would Manchester United be totally protected in that? Of, let's say he does go to Napoli and he did really well. Do we have an option to get him back? Do we have an option to, have any percentage of a future sale? Because if he does go to Italy, like we live in the hypothetical land, don't we, of sort of worry and fear. I mean, like you said, he is a young player. I still think that so as the GJ is saying on the screen there, the criticism of him is, I think, is a bit too much. Last night he did what he's kind of done this season, really, hasn't he? You know what I mean? Where quite wasteful, quite erratic. I think
should have got a goal and assist at least.
Yeah, obviously misses open target near enough. But I remember at the start of the season, he started the season really, really well. He was one of the only players that was scoring goals at the start of the season, wasn't it? And it wasn't even necessarily from starts. He was coming on and scoring goals, get City in the Community Shield and what have you. Yeah. So I think the real, concern with Garnacho at the moment is when you look at the system that we play now with Ruben Amorim, I do think a lot of people look and go, where does he actually fit right now? And can he adapt? There's almost been this, I guess, conclusion reached with someone like Marcus Rashford, isn't there? Of no, he's not going to adapt. He can't adapt. He's on his way out.
Which it doesn't necessarily
with Garnacho, mean that, because he's younger. I think there's maybe this thing of, well, could adapt. And he came on against Liverpool and he did all right. He came against Arsenal as well, did all right in those games. And it was actually, maybe he's going to adapt a bit more. Feels like he's got more time, doesn't it? So
yeah, and I don't mind that. And that's where, as now Ahmad just gone on a madness.
And madness.
Ahmad and madness, yeah. Now he's just gone on a madness, and that's put him top of our goal scoring chart. But it's Garnacho. Garnacho's our second highest scorer. Now I know you could say team's 13th, mate, team's 14th, team's 15th, whatever we keep saying week in, week out, 12th now. But that's our default reaction to any form of praise for any sort of player, isn't it? Well, where are we going with Bruno 13th? Like, it's so much bigger context than like this one guy is shit because the whole team's 13th. So that means he's terrible. So Kobe Mainu, what's the point? Talk about him, mate. Whole team's 15th. Sell him. Like, do you know what I mean?
Oh, getting out the last night when we were 1-0 down, it was, well, if Marcus Rashford was playing in this game, maybe those chances would go in. And you go, but Marcus Rashford didn't play against Liverpool and Arsenal. We got results in those games that we were happy with. It's not one player, is it?
That's what I mean. And we're always, the barometer of like how poor players are or how good they are is really difficult for us to do over the last 10 years. Like, since we've been rubbish, you can't truly assess. It's really difficult to find the bar of like, nah, he's just rubbish versus when people leave this club and get in a different environment, they thrive straight away. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know we could say Alanga, but come on, like we all say, he's not the level for me. McTominay, he's not the level. But these guys leave and thrive. I'm not saying everybody does. But also, what type of player are you going to buy if you sell Garnacho now? So I'll use Cunha just as an example off the top of my head. I don't know if he signed. I haven't seen any news that he signed that Wolves deal yet. I know some people said that
he had rumbling for a while.
It's just been, last I saw, he was keeping his options open. But how much is it going to cost to get Matthias Cunha now? It's over 100 million, really. Let's be honest, or around that. Like Wolves would just charge more than the 60 million or more than 40 million, 50 million, whatever. It'd be more than 60 million. What type of player are you going to get that's young, that's doing what Garnacho is doing, numbers-wise? And which type of player are you going to get that can basically fit the system now? Like, done and dusted, if you wanted like a Florian Wirtz or something amazing, big money. So these like ready-made players that we're saying that are amazing, you have to understand that there's different things to think about. It's not just, well, Garnacho's like struggled in this system, so he probably always will, so just sell him. Well, when everyone else is struggling in the system, we're basically saying the guy who's got the most goal involvements, apart from Ahmad, sell him now.
Well, and also as well, these conversations that we're having, again, I think it's almost like, well, if someone put down 65 million, 70 million, they'd be the same conversations that Man United have, wouldn't they? Of, okay, right, that's something to think about. Do we really want to sell him? What replacement could we bring in? How close to the red line are we when it comes to PSR? Ruben, exactly. What do you want to? Is he indispensable to you, or is there a player that you're looking
one
at?
As well, that what does the manager think?
Yeah, do you think that he can adapt? Those issues that you had prior to like the City game, which is why he was obviously dropped from the squad, they've been resolved. Like all of those things go into it, don't they? All of those things go into it. So, and at the moment, we're nowhere near that line, are we? We're nowhere near that mark because there's about 30 million quid's worth of difference between the two sides. And I can't see that being done in January. I think what it really is Napoli probably didn't anticipate losing Kvaratskhelia in January. It was all the thing about his contract, wasn't it? About he was on a small contract and couldn't find terms. PSG and others got a whiff of it, come in, got him, and they're like, shit, now we need to replace him. And they're looking around, and it feels like it's almost no coincidence, isn't it, that just after the stories come out that, well, United would consider an offer if it was a good offer, then suddenly approaches are starting to go in because agents, representatives, clubs are all getting a whiff of it, aren't they? And going, actually, exactly. let's test that. Let's see how willing they are, and they're finding out the same thing that the report said that, well, yeah, we'd be open to it, but you're gonna have to actually put up a good fee.
And you just got to be careful what you're doing. I mean, I think it's, what is it, 18 and 9 and 17 and 19 or something like that, respectively, that Ahmad and Bruno would have the most goal involvements between them. So Ahmad's got, 9 and 7. Bruno's got 11 and 7. Garnacho's got 8 and 5. So he's third on the list of goal involvements. Then after that, it's bloody, even Rashford is up there, 7 and 3. Højlund, 7 and 1. So you're talking, and Rashford's on his way out. So you're already getting rid of one player who obviously doesn't want to be here. But up until recent weeks, in the 6 games that Marcus Rashford's missed, or however many games it has been, at the point he sort of left the team, he was one of the highest scorers, which
Well,
says a lot. You know what I mean? It
yeah,
says
yeah,
a
yeah.
lot. But in that time, people have overtaken him. So you're getting rid of one person who was contributing, but when you look with your eyes, there's struggles there. But when you look your eyes, there's a lot of people struggling in the system who don't fit it and stuff like that any time. But the young players at the top end of the pitch, you know, look at Xerxes potentially starting to turn a corner as well. You do need time, and for me, I just think I'm comfortable with getting to the allowing Garnacho to grow, allowing to see where he gets to for now, at least to the summer. And from what you're hearing from Ruben Amorim as well, which is what I'm going off as the most important thing, especially before the presser before this, he's improving. He needs to understand, you know, where to be in transitions, because normally he'd like to receive the ball out wide, but I'm asking him to play inside, his different positioning, but he's getting better. Like, he has a future here, and this, that, and the other. And hopefully, what I'd like to try and think is, with the PSR, it's true. Like, how close to the red zone are we? Like, you know, we just sold Academy PSR in terms of Scott McTominay, so that helped. This one, eventually, let's be honest, Marcus Rashford's going to be the next one. Like, whether it's in the summer or now, something now. But, you know, Marcus Rashford. Then when you start to undo the likes of a Casemiro off the wage books, Ericsson off the wage books, you know, Johnny Evans and you know,
Casemiro, who didn't even get on again, by the way, last
he's
night.
done.
You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
100%. 100%. So, like, these types of things, could you balance that to sort of offset that and say, right, we then get in a player who, where Garnacho can keep coming in off the bench because we go and get the guy, get Luke Shaw out of there or whatever. I don't know, whatever happens with Mason Mount. These types of things. So I would like Balvin Deer says there. I know everybody has their price. I get that. But is Garnacho's stock still going to be quite appealing in a couple of years as still a young player at 22, a bit more experience? Probably. I would give Garnacho a couple of seasons. We can sell later, same price or more. Now, I know people say, oh, but if he keeps playing like this, he'd be like Anthony. Oh, it'll be 10 million. No, he's got more talent than that. So,
I think, like you said, I think wait until the summer, because I do think there are quite a few players that are earmarked to be going and look like they're actually going to go this time, like you said. Whether it is,
yeah.
you know, even like an Ericsson who came on brilliant assist last night for the goal. Was he on like 150k a week, something like that? He's going to go in the summer.
Piece.
You know,
Yeah.
Casemiro's. Otherwise, he's not going to play football. You know what I mean? Looks like he's going to be on his way out. See what happens with Anthony, etc. So maybe we might not be in that position where we have to reluctantly consider those bids because we've done some other stuff in the summer.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Closing statements on that, Owen, before we get to the super chats. Are you more comfortable with him staying and seeing what it looks like, because he is young and actually does have goal involvements and has probably played way too much football too early? So see what it's like under Ruben. Or would you still just be going, just up it, give me a bit more, Napoli, come on, come with like 65 plus add-ons and then it's a deal? Like, how are you actually seeing it?
No,
Would you
not
prefer
not
to
really
just...
that. Not really that. I mean, look again. If Napoli want to put down the majority, if not all, the money they got for Kvaratskhelia for Garnacho, then I think United they're in a position where they're like, can't not consider that. But I don't think it's like active negotiations. You know what I mean? Of going just a little bit more, just a little bit more. Like I said, I'm fine to wait till the summer and then reassess that. Oh, do we need a big sale to kind of do some big business in the summer? Is that what we need? Then we'll have a look at it. But I just don't think it's going to happen in this window. But that's been my prediction for a lot of things for United. I think it's the word of the window for Man United is going to be loan, basically. You know, loans out, loans in, and I don't think Garnacho is going to be part of that.
So what if he's young, Fleck? This is his third season and he hasn't developed at all. In fact, he's become worse. Do you think Garnacho has become worse? I think he's always been this. Like, I think that's harsh. I wouldn't say he's become worse. I'd say he's played in a shit team, played a ton of games, probably too early because the senior pros like Marcus Rashford, Jadon Sancho, Anthony all weren't doing the business. Played on the left, played on the right. I think stagnated. I think stagnated is maybe...
I wouldn't say he's got worse. I would say
he's got worse.
I'd say he largely kind of does what he did before. You know what I mean? When he first came in, which
he's raw, make bad decisions, then makes some good
ball,
ones.
runs at people, maybe misses chances, sometimes scores good goals, is inconsistent. But I wouldn't say he's got worse. It's, again, maybe he's stagnated. He has had the misfortune of, once again, with these young players, it's a bit like, I think, the Cobby thing. Cobby went off at half-time last night. Wasn't great, I don't think.
No.
It's once again, it's the young players are playing in a bad team where senior players aren't really delivering, and we're looking to them, the young players, to carry the club on the shoulders. And then when inevitably they start to stumble or stagnate, we're like, they're shit, they should go. And it's a bit like, I don't know. I don't know about that. I think I wouldn't say he's got worse. Not at all. Not at all. And I think also now he's in the situation where, look, he's a natural left winger playing in the number 10 role in a new system, which I think is
exactly. He's got to basically, he has to basically start again. And I'm not, just you lot shut up. Just how can you sell him? He's the best thing ever. I'm just cutting him a bit of slack. Do you know what I mean? Like, since he's so what's he got? He's got 23 goals and 14 assists on all his games for us in 117 appearances as a really young player. Like in the last 2.5 seasons, like going into his third. Like it's not the worst. You know what I mean? 23 and 14 is like, but at this age. And then again, if you're looking at the stats, that's more than what Ronaldo had at this age. You know, so you're saying he's going to be as good as Ronaldo? Confirmed. Someone's birthday though. Shout out Joe Blackman. Joe Blackman. This is Joe Blackman's birthday. Big up to you. Happy birthday to you, bro. Happy birthday. I'm a friend. One more year upon them. Big up to you, Joe. Everyone wish Joe happy birthday in the chat as well. Hope you have a good day, bro, whatever you're getting up to today. Have a blessed one. Andy says, with the two LB Booper boys permanently injured, sell Garnacho and loan Rashford. Who plays on the left? We cannot go into the summer using Dallo and Mazraoui. There you go. Got to think ahead. Andy Atherton says, we cannot sell Garnacho in January and trust the Glazios to replace him this month. They would use it to balance PSR for the 2025 period. Exactly. How much weaker are you by letting him play like that go? JD Cod says, slow Arsenal news day. Guy Yoro, Kobe, Rasmus, Garnacho, and Toby needs time to grow, especially around experienced players. We need to give them time. What, are you an Arsenal? Slow Arsenal news day? What, because you're waiting for Arsenal? Are you an Arsenal fan? I think. So that's why you're here. You're saying basically slow Arsenal news day. There's nothing going on for me. So just going to go and see what Man United are doing and just give my opinion on them. I think that's what you mean, JD. Yeah. GJE says there's an over-reliance on Garnacho. He's young and shouldn't start games, but around the squad to develop. Keep him and find other ways to get Cunha, in my opinion. Yeah, and look, Cunha's just the talk of the town because it's him and he's in the league, but players like that. And I think that as well. Garnacho should be in and out, should be learning, shouldn't be the main guy. Andy Atherton says, are we seriously considering 60 million? Mount cost 55 million. Like a lot of people are saying, pay up.
Also, I would also say don't judge normal transfers. Don't judge normal transfers based on what we've spent for players, because we are the shining light of overpaying for shitty players. Like,
proper teams won't do that. It's like the Anthony thing. Well, Anthony costs 80. So if I'm looking at Garnacho because of Anthony, Garnacho's double the player Anthony is. So but Garnacho should be 160 million, mate. 160 million. No, our figures are off. Our figures are off. Well, Højlund's 72 million. He's bloody rubbish, but so let's we can't.
It was like, honestly, last night Flex Paul Scholes said at halftime when Anthony was coming on, he went, maybe he's going to repay back part of his transfer fee, and it was like miss of the season.
He also said at the beginning, I saw in quotes like, not that bothered if Garnacho goes, did he? Didn't he? He said he can.
Yeah, I did see that. Yeah.
Said we can get better. So class of 92, mate. High standards. David says, selling our young best striker to fund a transfer isn't that what Everton has been. We are Man United. That's not the script Ineos sold us. They should find a way. And Kay says, geez, if Anthony had scored, Garnacho would have had 3 assists in 3 games. How has he gotten worse? Yeah, and that's the thing. It is those fine margins. Even though he didn't play well, if he took his chance off of Rasmus, which he really should have buried, and if he put it on an absolute plate for Anthony, let's be honest, guy just couldn't sort his feet. I don't know what he was doing. He was clearing. He
didn't even need to just slide. If he'd have
just stand up
there and let it hit him,
honestly,
it would have gone in.
But that was good play from Garnacho. Then you're going exactly that 3-3 new system. He's managing to find his feet. A bit of consistency,
That's Man United in a nutshell, though, isn't it? That's Man United in a nutshell.
Like how we're saying about Xerxes now. We're going to tell you what, good hold-up play, focal point up front. Rasmus doesn't have any of that. We'll get there.
We're hypothetical FC Flex again with stuff like that, aren't we? If only that had gone in. If only that hadn't have been offside. If only that was.
And this is what you need in whilst you're trying to make your decision of like, okay, this is right, let me break this down of what's really going on. Is he dead and rubbish and can't do anything? Or he's got quite a lot of goals and assists. He's always he's always active, nearly making things happen, very creative, this, that, and the other. Or is it just like Anthony, we go, actually, no. Like, just no. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. You've got to consider a lot of stuff. Right. I want to talk about in terms of transfers, we're good, aren't we, Owen? Is there any more transfers?
I believe so.
Stuff?
I believe so.
We're
yes.
good. I want to talk about Lenny Yoro. I want to talk about Lenny Yoro.
I tell you what, Flex.
I want to talk
last
about
night,
Lenny. Yes.
He had a tough one. He had
100%.
a very, very tough one.
Absolutely. You know, my group chat's going off. The rivals are ready. Arsenal fans couldn't wait because obviously he took a penalty at their gaff while their centre back apparently didn't want to be on the top 5. but listen, look at it now. Look at this guy. Real Madrid dodged a bullet. Look at the state of it. Thought he was better than Saliba. My mentions going off. Listen, thank you, Jonathan. Learning experience. Listen, tough time the kid had. Could have, maybe should have, if Harry Maguire could give us a bit more. Probably should have come off at half-time. You know, really, really tough time. Bloody Martinez could have come off at half-time as well. What the hell was he doing? But Yoro had...
Anyone could have come off half-time.
He was on toast. Suleimani, I thought it was Mane. I thought it was Sadio Mane. That's who I thought he was playing against. And it's a baptism of fire. These are the things that make you grow. Do we lose faith in him? Do we say we got a dud? Absolutely not. Kid's 19? And like Skiliano says there, baptism of fire. Welcome to the Premier League, kid. And it goes back to the thing of what we do say. There's very few 18-year-olds that can play centre-half at a high level in the Premier League. And look, do you know what I mean? Really good. Very few. And Saliba, countless loans out into Liga.
That's not like, traditional centre-back. That's right centre-back. You're kind of hybrid. You're still out wide. Again, you're going up against wingers and just, went through his legs a couple of times, just flew past him so many times. At one point,
he got rinsed.
One point, it looked like they were saying that he was going to come off Suleimani, and then they changed it. And even when it on the commentary, they're like, "Oh, he's going to come off." People were like, "Yes," because it was rough. And then, and it's not even necessarily just to single out Lenny Yoro, because this is the other part of it from last night too, Flex, is that for 82 minutes last night, Man United were horrid. I mean,
as a team,
so bad. Like, and that's why I know at the end of it we get the result, everyone's smiling, and it's like, we don't have to worry about Ahmad hat trick, a madness. But that is when we go into, and I know I will say it on the preview for the Brighton game. I said it on the preview for this game. I've said it on the preview for all of them recently, which is I still do not trust these players or this team, because for every good, we're at Anfield, we got a point, we should have won. Or for every, we knocked Arsenal out the FA Cup at the Emirates on penalties, 12 men versus 10 men because of the referee, and we got sent off, blah, blah, blah. We will still do what we did last night against Southampton, which is for 82 minutes. We're playing bottom of the league. They've got 6 points. They've won once this season. One game they've won. And we got played off the park. Like, for the majority of that game, played off the park. And the concern, once again, has to be that, if that's against Brighton at the weekend, or a bit like, basically, that performance was like when we played Newcastle at home, which was, if you play a half-decent team, you'll be 2-3-0 down in maybe like 30 minutes. And that's what happened against Newcastle, wasn't it? It was like 2-0 down, boom, easy, because it was just bad. It was just bad. And it's that stuff at home again where, commentary says it, you're there in the ground, Old Trafford gets quiet because it's, sideways passing, pass it backwards, not too sure what to do. I mean, once we got the goal, the Ahmad goal, then you crowd got a bit louder, intensity was a bit up. But
I felt we'd get a second. I did. Get a second straight away.
And then it's like what Ruben Amorim said after the Liverpool game. That's why he was annoyed after the Liverpool game, is because against Liverpool, against Arsenal, you can get up for those games and you can be intense and you can win your duels, you can win your battles. But at home, against the lower block, we get really passive, we get really slow, we don't move the ball that quickly. And then we'll lose the ball in certain situations, in transition. There are really big gaps in midfield yesterday. And that's the worry with this players, is they can't be trusted. And I think you have to be really cautious with, don't be negative. We won. It doesn't matter because we will get another rude awakening. That will come against a better team that isn't
Sunday.
that isn't a championship team. Southampton are a championship team. That they will beat us because again, against good teams in the Premier League, you can't do that. You just
but also
play like
stylistically, like Ruben Amorim said in the presser as well. The next game will be completely different in terms of demands. Like they're not going to play how Southampton play, and I think we really did have a problem with the fact that they play 3-5-2 as well. So when you're playing with the same build-up with 3 centre halves and wing backs, and then a couple in midfield, and then the 2 up front, it forces you to have to be really good 1v1 in your duels. Like whether you're taking players on, you need to get the better of them. Whether you're defending, you need to get the better of them. In midfield, you have to get the better of your opposite. Because Southampton went 1-for-1. They went for man all over the pitch because they played pretty much the same formation for a few tweaks. And it exposed the things that we're not good at, which we know. Again, and this is why the Liverpool and Arsenal game, like you say, we said it many times, so did Ruben. We all knew easy to go there, sit behind the ball, be compact, let the game come to us, stay in it, get them nervous, nick one, be good in transitions. Different beast when you're at home. Have to be on the front foot, supposed to dominate possession, which we did in the end. Playing against bottom of the league. And not just playing against bottom of the league, like I said in the road trip, Southampton go after you. Like, Jurek is not a manager. It's not like Russell Martin where they try and overplay, but they go after you. They put the ball into good areas. They have players high and wide. Dibbling in transitions, fantastic. Look what Soleimani is doing, and they press. Like every time we was passing along our back three, it wasn't like, we'll get 70% easy here. We just go side to side with ease. No, they were shutting off angles, forcing our left wing back in Mazraoui to have to keep, like what Dalot gets forced into do a lot of times. A lot of teams do this to us. They let us pass it across the back. It goes to the left wing back and they squeeze and put us into that corner where Dalot usually has to play that ball first time round the corner into Højlund because we've got to go long. And Højlund has no hold-up play, doesn't have any presence about him up front. And the centre-half just takes it off him and the team gets the ball back. Or we have to go long to bypass the press. We don't play through the thirds. We haven't worked out how to play through the thirds when we're being pressed. We played through the thirds fine when these teams sit off us. You know what I mean? But if a team goes for us and goes man for man, 1-for-1, we're not good enough to do that. And that's where you see the deficiencies in someone like who's been really good for us, Ugarte. Winning the ball, brilliant, high volume tackler, high volume duels, the nasty work, 100%. But when it's a different type of game to say, right, they're on us 1v1. Do you want to take the ball with a man, coming beside you to running in behind you to get the ball? Do you want to take it here on a half turn and progress the ball? Not really. Cobby.
Well, he and Cobby, they looked out of gas yesterday, didn't they?
100%.
After the because you look at someone like when Collier came on, again did really well, but he just had a bit of energy about him, didn't he? Bit of energy, bit of like I said, forward passes.
That's what it is.
You're right. We do this thing where we sort of pass it sideways. And we can
get
only
to a wing back.
We can only kind of get sort of 25 yards out of our box. And then, like you said, the press starts. Then eventually it goes, I don't know about that. Go back to Onana. He'll go long up to Højlund. Højlund has a wrestle or it bounces off him or it goes over his head straight to the goalkeeper. And we're like, that was the first 60-ish minutes of the game yesterday, really, which again is really worrying.
And the
really
physical nature of their midfield in what's his name, Aribo, who was physical and good, evading challenges, wriggling out challenges, and Ukuchukwu as well. They're just physical and had some nice touches. So yeah, we struggled a lot. And Brighton is a different proposition because they will. There's two assumptions to make. One is if that's what you do against bottom of the league, Brighton are going to tear you a new one, so you're going to lose easily. But also, the demands of the game will be different because Brighton won't probably allow us to have 60% possession, to be honest with you. They're going to come and play. So there'll be a lot of times where we can counter them. There'll be a lot of times where we can sit in and wait, which isn't what we want to be doing at home. But yeah, and the naivety of I knew for us to get back in that game, we needed them to play like a bottom team, like a team that's at the bottom. So they've got into a good position in the game, done well for most of it. Should have probably made it 2 when Soleimani runs through and misses. Should have made it 2. Then you do something naive, do something a bit silly. Game management's not quite there. And we're lucky we're playing against bottom league.
And again with that, a couple of, a bit fortuitous because, Ahmad, it's the first shot bounces off him, then he can take it again. Obviously, the Ericsson one is why you bring him on for 10, 15 minutes because he does have that
All
pass.
his subs work. You've got to give Ruben Amorim credit for that. Xerxes, Ericsson, Collier, and even Maguire played some good switches out to Anthony, who wasted it, but, he was right on the ball. His substitutions worked. His substitutions did work.
And then you get into the territory of, did the subs work or did he get his team selection wrong in the first place? You know what I mean?
And that's the ultimate experiment. Debate. Just for now, like you said, because it was going to swap. That's 2 games now. We need to swap in Xerxes. Let's go to Xerxes until it's not Xerxes anymore. That's what we need to do there. And the Kobe and Ugarte thing, depending on what type of game it is, you've got to look at it. Because he's saying Ugarte's tired as well. He's saying he said from the first minute, because I knew he was tired.
Yeah.
And we got to go again in 2 days. So do you just start Collier this time? Do you take out Kobe for a game and just go Ugarte Collier?
Yeah.
We definitely, obviously, won't see Ericsson and bloody Thing again together. Casemiro, but did you have to go with Ericsson and Collier? I don't know. But we're in trouble there. Did you drop Bruno back for a game?
And he did do all right when he dropped further back, didn't he? He did yesterday. Yeah,
he did. So, but Bruno Collier, I don't know, against Brighton. But yeah, for now, I do know we've got to protect Lenny Yoro as well. I can see why we've been dropping him in, taking him out, dropping him. Because I've been like, play him a bit more. Give him, we're putting him into games that are really tough. But anytime he started, he's had a tough time, bless him. So I think you take him back out, you get De Ligt back to right wing back, get Maguire back in there at centre back. Martinez, just by default, you can go again. But I was not impressed. Not impressed.
No, even for the
what on earth was he doing?
And and also for the chance when Onana makes the double save, it's one of those ones where once again,
flying past it,
a taller defender probably heads that. He's flying around, looks like a fish.
So he's got
water,
done by Diblin first. He's got spun. In the beginning of our thirds, absolutely spun by Diblin. Runs back, ball comes out, misjudges it, runs past it, falls over. Then he gets done by Diblin at the front post. That actually causes the goal to happen. Again, we just need big, powerful centre. I know, it's back to that, this is why we need better, in my opinion. They really do. And to finish off, got quite a few super chats here, actually. Is it Andy? Are we seriously? No. David, send our best. No. Okay.
Did that one.
Show. There you go. Show says, Hoyland, 2 out of 10 duels won. 1 out of 4 ground duels. 1 out of 6 aerial duels. 3 touches in opposition box. 1 shot against Bednarek, by the way. Pathetic comeback. That's what I was going, Jan Bednarek. That's exactly what I was going. Jan fucking Bednarek should be retired. Jan Bednarek. Honestly, International said, let's use some intelligence on Yoro yesterday. Literally centre-back that had no support playing in the back 3 against Speedy Winner. Left exposed, not his fault. It's not his fault. Just a baptism of fire. If you'd have put De Ligt there against Soleimani, he probably, I know De Ligt's good. He played good as well yesterday. He might have got ripped a new one as well. They needed
It's one of those
support.
ones, isn't it? Criticism, or it's not a criticism, or just pointing out the reality.
What
doesn't mean they're bad. It's just literally
exactly
what happened. He had a really tough time yesterday. Really tough time.
Exactly, he did. Jazdeep says, even if no players meet the standard, we have to start by replacing the worst. Otherwise, the rebuild becomes chaotic. Garnacho contributes, keeps him. Yeah, exactly. There's players to get rid of before one of the people who were contributing the most. Guys, thank you for watching. We have got Brighton up next. There'll be a preview out tomorrow about that very, very difficult game. Play like we did yesterday, we will get comfortably beat and still might. So, yeah, lock in, guys. We'll see you in another video very, very soon. Smash a like on the way out. Where did we get to? We got to 393 with 1,600 watching. That ain't great. That was our fault. We should have really... we should have really spoke about that. 9th, Flex is loud about Martinez, but quiet about Yoro. Yoro is bad. 9th, stop being silly. I'm out of here. We're out of here. Take care. Peace.